And it's amazing how they're all doing this and then they get famous on TikTok. Look how good my child is. Look at what my child is. My child's transgender. My child's transgender. Because subscribe to my TikTok, like for more. Yeah, fuck off. Hello, welcome back. Sorry it's taken me so long to get back. New camera angle. I've sorted some things out. I've been away working on myself, as you do. We're back with Rob is Right, this lovely gentleman here. Libs of TikTok, episode 11, I think now. Let's go.
I'm changing my pronouns a little bit. So for the he, she alternative, instead of pay, it's paint. So now it's paint, paints, paint self. I just think it's easier and it flows better.
Jesus. Paint. How is paint a pronoun? People, we need to get past this. I'm not even going to talk about this. That is ridiculous. They're definitely guys. I've just read the newspaper article about this. But that video we've just seen there, that was awful. I'm glad I fast during the day because I think you would be seeing my breakfast right now. So it's a good job I don't eat. Yeah, this is a teacher that identifies as trans who went in with some massive melons on. Look at these melons. The editing. Terrible, that, isn't it? So that's like a shop teacher. I'll drop a link to the article for that in the description. It happened in Canada, I believe. I'll share it with you. Oh, I'm sorry, Rob. I'm sorry. 5th grade teacher claims multiple students have come out to her because she's out and proud. 10-year-olds are coming out as trans and non-binary to their teachers.
Yes, I have had multiple students come out to me.
Oh my god, she's taking it a step further. Do you know when you identify... The easiest way to identify someone who's a crazy leftist is they have a ridiculous coloured hair. So, pardon me, traditionally people would dye the hair because it's starting to go grey. So I'm starting to get grey hairs in my old age and all this stress. So traditionally I'd dye my hair like diarrhea brown again. But if they're crazy, it's like blue or pink or green or rainbow. And this woman here, I assume, has gone one step further and they've got red eyebrows.
Not just with their sexuality, but also with their gender identity. It's one of the reasons I think it's so important to be out and loud and proud so that people feel comfortable coming to me and talking to me, because I don't know how much different my life would have been if I had had somebody to come talk to about this kind of stuff. My hope is that every student will have somebody that they can talk to about this.
It's always the kids, innit? It really annoys me, that. It really annoys me. I don't care what adults do. Once your prefrontal cortex is developed and your capacity for decision making is like up there, like with adults, and you can comprehend like long-lasting, life-changing decisions, you're trying to be involved, puss. Once you can do that, do what you want. But until then, I mean, leave the kids alone. Jesus.
Also, by the way, with The Little Mermaid, can we also just mention that just from a scientific perspective, okay, it doesn't make a lot of sense to have someone with darker skin who lives deep in the ocean.
What scientific fucking perspective? It's a story about a mermaid. Those don't even exist. There's an octopus lady that steals people's voices and a singing Jamaican crab. Who gives a fuck?
To be fair, that he does have a point. He does have a point. If you're going to talk about realism, like to that extent, but I mean, the talking crab is a very good argument point. Sebastian isn't exactly realistic, is he? But you can't use... I think the mistake there was Matt Walsh's. He very rarely makes a mistake. But I think what Matt Walsh did was he tried to argue scientific fact against fiction, and they were using madness and fiction. So fiction is never a good common ground. So you can't use science to argue against a fictional thing. I think that was his mistake. And then, yeah, they've rightfully melted down. But that was funny. I might have to just listen to the...
This lady that steals people's voices and a singing Jamaican crab. Who gives a fuck?
My name.
That's like full on meltdown, that's quality. This is who they're bringing to read and interact with kids in New York City libraries, and your tax dollars, you poor unfortunate Americans, are funding it.
Thanks, Professor Lionel Longlegs. My pronouns are they, fair, fairs, it's, and they, them is just fine. So if you wanted to refer to me, you would say Faye is a drag storyteller. It loves to read, and some of their favorite books are Where the Wild Things Are, and From the Stars in the Sky to the Fish in the Sea. And I have been reading with Drag Storyteller, with Drag Story Hour, for a year and a half. And my drag character is a drag thing that can be anything in the world. Today I'm space, a lot of times I'm a notebook or a car, all sorts of wonderful things.
I'm going to be teaching you how to...
Drag is not acceptable for children in any way, shape or form. You heard it here categorically first. Fucking get that stuff away from the kids, please. In any form. Any form. It sickens me. Sorry, this is going to be a long video.
All sorts of wonderful things.
I'm going to be teaching you how to use prince, princess pronouns and sentences. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to use shark, sharks pronouns and sentences. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to use flower, flowers pronouns and sentences. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to use wolf, wolves pronouns and sentences. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to use paint, paints pronouns and sentences. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to use cat, cats pronouns. And today I'm going to be teaching you how to use that, that's pronouns and sentences. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to use the, verb, viz pronouns. And today I'm going to be teaching you how to use thon, thons pronouns and sentences. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to use they, them pronouns and sentences. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to use shroom, shrooms pronouns.
See, this is the beauty of libs of TikTok. They want us to take them seriously, then they post their madness. They are mad. Mad means that you are mentally unwell. Mad means that you are not experiencing life in the correct way that you are meant to be, and something is wrong. You can be mad in the fact that you think the cupboard is talking to you, or you can be mad and think that the world's going to end in 4 days. They are both symptoms of madness, right? And that there is madness. The fact that there's over 150 odd pronouns, and we're supposed to know them all. How does that even make any sense? So it's like a test that we're categorically put through every day. No thanks. I didn't take this. I didn't sign up for this curriculum, so I'm going to opt out if you don't mind.
Oh, thank you so much for asking about my pronouns. Everyone misgenders me on my comments, and it means so much that you asked, and you're trying to be respectful, so I love you for that. So I use the pronoun Zer. I chose these pronouns because in my head, they, them, as a non-binary person means...
Keywords in the sentence, in my head.
It's like no gender, but Zer for me feels like it's, like...
In her head, blah, 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 blah. It feels like blah, blah, blah.
Like sliding, like Z and Zer, very similar to he and him, and she and her, and I just preferred that. So obviously, Z can be used, in replace of she, him, and they, and then Zer is used in replace of the other ones.
You don't even know what you're talking about. You're supposed to be teaching me this shit and you don't have a clue what you're talking about. Please be gone with your foolishness. This is an 8-year-old child transitioned into a girl because the parents claim since early childhood their kid liked girl things. See, this is the thing. The child has no idea what they're talking about. This is the parents abusing the children. There's going to be loads of stuff that comes out in decades to come about how children were manipulated and abused, because lots of children that were abused by their parents remember the abuse. If you were abused by your parents, you remember that abuse. If you were abused at 8, you remember it when you're 42. But when you're 42, you've got a 42-year-old's mind. You look back and you think, my parents abused me, and then you chastise them for it. Do you know what I mean? So, like... It's the parents that do this believe that what they're doing is consequence free because of the world that we live in. There's no accountability for anything anymore. I can't wait for the days that these parents get the comeuppance for the child's sake, because they're ruining the children's lives. That's a baby, man. That's a baby. You're a baby until you're 18 in my mind. You're dumb as fuck. You're a baby. We shouldn't have soldiers on the front line that are 19-year-old. Should be at least 25 when you've got your wits about you. You're a baby. You're a child. It's not right, man.
Edie has always been
more
attracted to stereotypical girl toys or girl things.
Is this what you've chosen to wear today, Eduardo?
Yeah, I'm a queen.
When did you learn what transgender was?
The media told me. She said that I was transgender, and I asked her what that means, and she said...
The fucking media told me. When did you learn about it? The media told me.
Chosen to wear today, Eduardo?
Yeah, I'm a Queen.
When did you learn what transgender was?
Amelia told me. She said that I was transgender and I asked her what that...
Amelia, not the media, Amelia. So that must be a sibling of some kind or a friend or someone.
that means, and she said that means you're half boy and half girl. I think I'm mostly a girl.
Most of the negativity has come from online.
That's the dad,
it
is
was probably a few months ago that she decided to change her name.
Hi, I'm
That's the
Edie.
dad, is it?
This is all my dresses, and I wear this for my party, which is my favourite.
I don't know what next year is going to be like, you know? I don't know, is hormone therapy where we're going to go? But now you've shown yourself that no matter who you are, your parents are going to love you.
Yesterday
You see how it's the parents doing it? You see how it's the parents doing it? Because he said, I don't know where we're going to go next. On about him and his wife. So, like, they're in control of this. They could say, no, you're not having this done, but they're making it happen. Everything that happens in your life as a child is facilitated by your parents. You don't magically go to an extracurricular activity. Your parents make it happen. They make it happen. You can't do anything without your parents' consent. When was the last time you, as a child, went to Disneyland without your parents' consent? Never happened. They make it happen. It's bad. It's bad. It sickens me. It gets me really angry. Usa. So I didn't watch most of it.
English teacher brought their students into the library for first period. They were 7th graders, so they haven't been into the library yet. 3 of them saw me and stopped dead. I love your shoes, they said, referring to my platform purple sparkly boots. I said, thank you. To the tallest one, I said, I used to wear pants like that. You know, the Trip NYC pants with the straps and things. They thought that was the coolest thing. And the shorter one said, who are you? As if to say, where have you been all my life? It's first thing in the morning, I'm still drinking my coffee, and the library is full of students for the first time this year. So I'm just like, the English teacher goes, maybe you should introduce yourself to the student. So they introduce themselves, I introduce myself and what I do here. And now I have a trans baby bat fan club. Who am I? I'm your queer-coded goth fairy godmother.
Well, we don't have
The fact that these people gloat that they get, like, they have social power. Oh, like, I'm so popular, everybody likes me, shows their level of immaturity, right, for a start. And the fact that they're like, they know as an adult that children are impressionable and easily swayed by things. And because children look up to them, that makes them feel empowered. So because they're empowered and children look up to them, everything they do is correct. They don't have to understand that, like, they're not their children. They're other people's children that need to learn. Like, what if children are Christian? Do you know what I mean? Like, if people are Christian and then they're going to school and the teachers are going on like that, it's really bad, especially if they're going on about trans stuff. It's really, really bad.
CPS data on gender identity for students younger than middle school, we know that there are students in CPS classrooms as early as pre-K who identify as non-binary and trans. They deserve to feel supported at school just as much as older students. Research shows that children start to understand gender at a very early age. Around age 2, children become conscious of the physical differences between cisgender boys and girls. And before their 3rd birthday, most children can easily label themselves as their gender. By age 4, most children have a stable sense of their gender identity. Early childhood educators should consider ways to expand children's understanding of gender by challenging traditional gender stereotypes. For example, by encouraging students to play with toys they like rather than toys based on gender stereotypes. Children who assert a gender-diverse identity know their gender as clearly and consistently as their peers of the same developmental stage. This means that youth who are trans or non-binary have an equal understanding of their gender as cisgender youth. Gender-diverse children deserve and benefit from the same level of support, love, and acceptance as their cisgender peers.
Right, so basically, because people feel some type of way, the answer is chop them up and fill them full of hormones. That's the answer. So if humanity has ever tried to play God, like, I'm an agnostic, like I've mentioned before. I don't know. I claim to know nothing about God. It could be Allah, it could be Yahweh, it could be Buddha. You don't know, and there's no way you could know. So for you to claim you do know, to me, is ignorant. But that's how I see it. Your views are your views, though. You can hold them. Just because I believe they're ignorant doesn't mean you have to think they are. That being said, if you take any God, so like if you take Allah, or you take Jesus, or like Yahweh, his dad, like if you take that, or you take Buddha, or you take anyone, take Ganesh from Hinduism, right? If all of these gods are creators and stuff, and they've made things the way that they wanted them made, regardless of if you like those things or not. So every single bad thing that's happened in humanity, like volcanoes erupting and Pompeii being flattened and all of the earthquakes and all of the tsunamis and stuff that kill hundreds of people, technically God wants that. If you see it from that side of thing, God wanted that, right? He wanted that to happen. Those people now have been dealt with in God's plan, right? So if God made you and your body's this way but your mind's that way, maybe God has put you on this path as a trial. But now instead of facing your trials, you're going to play God and you're going to say, no, God was wrong, and I'm going to correct God's mistake. That's effectively what they're doing there. Like, tell me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think transitioning people is playing God, and that I'm an agnostic. Work that out. But yeah, I don't know how I'm going to feel about this one. A 10-year-old transgender model and activist. Are they really an activist? They're fucking 10. At 10, I didn't know anything about the world. Do you know what I mean? It's madness. What this means is a 10-year-old child has been transgendered and turned into a model and activist by their parents. Their name is Noella McManus.
What is normal? What is normal? It's 2022. No one knows what normal is at this point. It's cool to have that title, and it shows that I actually am like showing other people and kids that being transgender isn't bad.
You know, as long as she's doing all the things that she needs to be doing, we want to make sure that...
Shock. Look at the parents. Is it the children that's doing this, or is it the parents? Do they look like normal people? Does that look like a normal family structure? Both of their genders are so fucking ambiguous. I'm not surprised the kids like that. Where are the men at? Where are all the real fucking hairy, muscly men at? Where are all the big dudes at? And where are all the fit, feminine women at? They've gone. We've been turned into this fucking homogenous blob, and these are the kids we're pumping out. I feel sick. Oh.
Her dreams, and the fact that she has this want to be an activist and be visible for other trans kids, we know is just so important in a world that, especially right now in our current political climate, that has so many things that are working against her. Kids like her.
We can promote a shame-free educational space by letting young people know that it's okay if they are curious. It's okay if they have watched porn.
No, I'm blocking this. I apologise. It says the at IDHW, whatever that is, has reportedly been purchasing porn literacy materials from at ETR.org, which is a non-profit organisation. These materials are used in elementary and high school classrooms. Pornography.
It's okay if they are curious. It's okay if they have watched porn, and it's okay if they have thought about porn. I always make sure to say someone being curious about sex and or porn does not make them a bad person. It makes them human. It's so important we normalize that this is a natural human experience. And I also want to make a point to share that not wanting to watch porn is also completely fine. There's no judgment and shame for not being curious. That's okay too. And we want to create environments in the classroom where students don't shame each other.
So as an educator, my job is to provide information about sexual health and have students critically think by exploring all sides of an issue. Critical thinking skills are the largest component of porn literacy. It's the ability for young people to analyze and ask questions about the media that they're viewing. Critical thinking skills allow young people to understand the intention behind pornography.
So much of sex education is reflecting on our values and beliefs in relation to a topic, and porn literacy is no exception. For facilitators, it's first important for them to reflect on their reasons for wanting to teach porn literacy. Do they want to teach porn literacy because they believe watching porn and by extension sex work is inherently bad and they want to stop young people from accessing it? That's unfortunately not going to lead to good conversations.
Right, she's reading from a piece of paper.
unfortunately not going to lead to good conversations because it's pushing one agenda, that porn is bad.
So, through all of that word salad that she's just constructed there, what she's saying is, porn is good and we should show it to kids. These people are fucking deranged. New release footage of a May robbery shows 2 men being robbed at gunpoint while eating in a restaurant in LA. Welcome to California. Jesus. Just in the restaurant. Well, you see, we now live in a world where face coverings are no longer frowned upon, so it's easy to mask one's identity, isn't it? What on earth? I would be doing as well. You'd be getting choked out. Wouldn't care if I was getting shot. I would die for something stupid like that. I'd die to prove a point to a little prick. That's terrible. What a society we live in. What a society we live in. Look at him, like they're not even like good with the guns and stuff. There, look, he's pushed him back. He's not even trying to do well. Look, they're not even trying to use the guns. They've just intimidated you. They've used the guns as a scare tactic. They both lost teeth. They both lost teeth trying to do that to me. I'm not scared anymore. I used to be. A lot of things change as you grow up. Jesus, man. I tell you what, though, it's not exactly smooth and efficient, is it? Trying to get his watch and stuff. They're all still fighting on. Took him like 2 minutes. Terrible.
I've gotten a few variations of this comment, and so...
You teach English in Germany and would like to teach people about non-binary. Jesus.
I figured I would just take a moment to talk about it in a quick video. Also, I was like dressed really cute, and I'm wearing my pronoun shirt, so I was like, it's perfect, let's do it. So for pronunciation, MX is pronounced like mix, like you're mixing things together. So it's mixed Siegel, and when it comes to like introducing it to students, honestly, I don't really do too much with it. When students come to my door, my placard outside my door says Mixed Siegel and then my room number. My syllabus, I put Mixed Siegel. My email signature says Mixed Siegel, as well as having my pronouns in parentheses. So whenever kids come in, they see my name on the door, they see my name on my syllabus. If they've emailed me, if parents have emailed me, they see that. So they'll ask, oh, how should I refer to you? I'll say Mixed Siegel is what you can use. And you can also just drop Mix and drop the honorific in general and just call me Siegel. That's what most of my students do, really, especially the ones that are in theater, that are around me all the time, or students that I've looped with. Most of them have just been like, hey Siegel, how's it going? Support has been amazing at my current school and location. Admin has been super supportive. They made me a new placard for my door whenever I was officially like, hey, these are my pronouns. They changed all the pronouns in my evaluation and all my documentation as well. They've been super supportive on that aspect. When it comes to students, 90% of them are totally chill with it. It's not an issue. Some kids will still call me Mr. Siegel, which for me is not a huge deal. I don't like it very much, but it's not something that I'm correcting them on. Honestly, other students correct students way more than I ever do. They really are like, hey, that's not what they go by. They go by this. You should call them this, which I find very heartwarming, and I love it. And I'm just like, oh, thank you guys.
Oh, thank you guys for bullying and using peer pressure in a way that I like. But when you do it against me, no. So basically, what you're saying there is you want kids to call you by a different name. Most of the kids call you by a different name. The ones that try and hold true to what is real are ostracized and bullied by the other children, and they use peer pressure. It's the kids that check the kids. So you know fine well what you're doing. Let me know right in the comments if you think that homeschooling is looking better by the day. Let me know that, because if I have children, I don't think I'm going to send them to school. If I'm going to go to school, I'm going to meet all the teachers and I'm going to sit and I'm going to grill them all for half an hour. I'm going to grill them all. I'm going to ask them all what a woman is. And if they can't answer it, my kid's not going in that classroom. Simple. If you don't know what a woman is, you're not qualified to teach a child. Simple.
The kids are all...
I'm going to prove to you why white people are the reason I'm fat today.
White people are the reason you're fat. No, you're fat because you can't control what you put in your face. It's not my fault, love.
If white people didn't go looking for spices, then various sea routes to Indian subcontinent and Africa and other places of the world would not get discovered. And if they didn't get discovered, then East India Company would never come to Indian subcontinent. And if they didn't come, then...
So, because the white man found India, if the white man never found India, India would have remained this hidden gem forever. Nobody would have ever found India.
The fertility of the land would not get destroyed because they forced us to cultivate tobacco and dyes and opioid, things like that, and that destroyed the fertility of my country. And then if that didn't happen, and if they didn't exploit and extract resources until my ancestors were left with nothing to eat, we wouldn't move to this grain heavy, very little nutritious diet that we have today. Also, if white people...
You're fat because you eat too much. That's why you're fat. I used to be fat because I ate too much. That's why you're fat. So it's not. So basically, what you're trying to say is your ancestors had a bad diet, and now it's that. So it's our fault, the white people's fault, our fault. Fucking hate doing that. It's our fault that you're fat because you can't stop yourself eating a Big Mac.
People didn't come to the Indian subcontinent, then my ancestors would not go through 50 small, medium, large famines in a period of 200 years.
So because there was famines, you're fat. Are you following the thread of what she's saying here? I don't have a fucking clue what she's saying. Basically, what she's trying to do is she's trying to use lots and lots of really weak, badly worded arguments to say, well, I'm fat because you're white. No, you're fat because you like food too much and you don't like exercising enough. Ethan Klein's got the same problem.
That's a lot.
That's all.
And in 1943, nearly 3 million people would not have died due to starvation and malnutrition. And if that didn't happen, then this entire place and the people of this place would not adapt to survive on lower calories. We also would...
You're not surviving on lower... Even if you were surviving on lower calories, you've eaten too many. If you're, like, say you need 2,000 calories a day to survive. It's not that. It's a little bit more, a little bit less, depending on the size here. Say you need 2,000 calories a day to live. You can survive on lard. You could eat 2,000 calories of fucking lard to survive. Her problem is, she gets to the 2,000 calorie mark, looks about and thinks, do you know what, that donut looks nice, and she eats more. You're a racist piece of shit that's got no self-accountability. That's what you are, love.
Wouldn't biologically be programmed to hold on to more fat because my genes, they always think, okay, you're gonna die. At some point, there's gonna be a famine, you will not have food, and you're gonna die.
What does that have to do with what you put in your face? You are rotund because you like ice cream. You are fat because you like filet mignon too often. That's the problem. I can't get over this shit. You're fat because you're lazy. It's as simple as that. If that's a hot take. If you're watching this and you're fat, it's because you're lazy and you don't exercise enough. If you want to continue to eat the amount of food that you eat, exercise more or stop fucking complaining. It's not my fault you eat too much. And it's not your fault I eat too little. You can't be blamed for my anorexia, and I can't be blamed for your obesity. Shoe on the other foot.
I would also not be prone to diabetes,
You're prone to diabetes because of all the sugar that you love eating.
Pressure, heart diseases, and all that other things.
I'm so fat.
So yeah, white people is the reason why I can't lose weight.
Fuck you too, you silly bitch. Oh, look at me with my nice frame like this. That made me titties move. Can you see my titties moving? Can you see my titties moving? Oh, yeah. I'm thin because I'm white, and you're fat because I'm white. That's how the world works, isn't it?
5 things you can do as a teacher to create safer spaces in your classroom. Or your house, really, if you want to. Number 1. Post...
Why do they all have crazy eyes?
The safe space sign Like this one. You can Google it. And then start unpacking what it means in your classroom to create safer spaces. How do you handle pronouns? Someone being misgendered. How do you teach your other kids to be an ally? Dead naming.
If Jocko was trans, I'm just saying.
It's gonna happen. What are you gonna do? Number 2, start an LGBTQ organization in your school to support your staff and students. Like this one. This is glsen.org. They will give the entire curriculum to you. It's very handy. Number 3. That was 4. Number 3. Learn every day how to be a better ally. How to be anti-racist. Stand up against homophobia and transphobia. Ever hear your students say, "That's so gay"? You gotta shut that shit down. Don't know why pronouns are so important? Don't understand why students would get upset when they've been misgendered or dead named. You gotta unpack that. Here's number 4. Integrate Q, T, BIPOC, and LGBTQ topics, writers, authors into your curriculum. Curriculum. Why? Because don't forget, Pride started out as, and continues to be, an act of resistance. Started by our black trans women. You have to acknowledge all the parts of a student's identity, because their experiences will be different when they hold multiple intersections of identity, like being black and queer.
I was just offered $400.
These people are mad. They're properly mad. I genuinely pity so many of you in America, because that shit there is all over your children. It's all over your children. There's some stupid numbers, like the amount of trans boys and girls now have massively jumped. I think there's like 900% more. In the past 20 years, there's been 900% more trans boys, and then there's been like 4,400% more trans girls. So I'll put that in a perspective for you. If there was 100 trans boys 20 years ago, now there's 1,000%, 900% of them, so that means that there's 900 of them. And if there was 100 trans girls, like 20, 30 years ago, there's 4,000% increase. So that means it's gone from 100 to 4,000. Like, that's the percentage that's increased. So if it's not like all a social thing, and it's really, 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 really destructive. This is destroying society, and we're going to look back on the history pages. I'm making these videos for posterity, so I can come back here when I'm 60 with a big grey beard and say, "See, I fucking told you." Because this is stupid now. This is really stupid. I understand why YouTube doesn't want me talking, because YouTube wants this shit to spread. So me talking about it is counter to YouTube's goals. That's why I've stopped posting as much. YouTube doesn't want me on here. All my content goes directly to Rumble. That's where you need to watch it. If you're going to watch it anyway, watch it on Rumble. I'll actually get paid if you watch it on Rumble, for example. If I watch it on YouTube, they won't give me a penny. Yeah, like, it's stupid.
To make an anti-Donald Trump propaganda post related to the January 6th investigation that is completely not true. I should start out this video by saying I'm not a Donald Trump supporter, so that should give a little bit of context to where I'm coming from. I'm an attorney. I post legal news and analysis on related topics. Okay, here we go with the story. So first thing first, I get an email from somebody with the Good Info Foundation. We'll talk about them a little more in a minute. I'm going to refer to this person as Jane. Jane sent me a message letting me know she represented the Good Info Foundation and that she was willing to offer a paid collaboration to discuss some topics related to January 6th. I said, sure, why not? I'll learn some more. Jane says the Good Info Foundation will give me $400 to make a post on my page and then share it to Instagram. So you see that blue link? All right, here we're going to follow it. These are the specific requirements in order to obtain that $400 of how I should refer to the January 6th Capitol raid. Number 1, I must call this a criminal conspiracy. Number 2, I must say Trump Republicans were responsible. Number 3, I must frame it as an attack on my country, an attack on America or Americans, a criminal conspiracy, and a committed crime. I must attribute the matter to MAGA Republicans. I must make clear that this was ongoing and unresolved, and most importantly, that I must channel all of this unto the manipulation of voter agencies so that I could turn their anger around this event into defiance that would make people more likely to vote in midterms. And the thing that struck me the most was this part, where I was told to talk about the aspects of the Trump campaign's plan, and I was supposed to say that the Trump campaign paid literally millions of dollars to make January 6th happen. So I figured, maybe I missed something. So I said, hey, Jane, what is the basis for the claim that the Trump campaign itself paid millions of dollars to make the January 6th siege of the Capitol happen? Jane doesn't answer the question. Hi, Preston. If you don't want to state that in the video, it's fine. You don't have to use all the bullet points provided. So I kept going. Sure, I'm just wondering if there's support for that client. Jane doesn't answer again. Let me know if you are interested and the rate works for you. Thanks so much. I'm not interested and the rate doesn't work for me. This is the Good Info Foundation. They boast on their homepage that good information is the lifeblood of a democracy.
Okay, so first of all, I will say that
That's food for thought, isn't it? Makes you wonder how many people were involved and how many people took little backhanders. Like in the UK, our Prime Minister, which we didn't elect, by the way, all of her little cronies put her in power, and now she's put a lobbyist for an energy company as one of her lead business associates. Like, it's all corrupted. If you think this isn't corrupt, it's not. You need to go and watch Russell Brand. If you don't think the world's corrupt, watch Russell Brand. He'll open your eyes to it. I haven't got enough time to go on like that. He's got the money and the resources and the reach to get to people. But yeah, it's all corrupt as fuck, man. It's all corrupt as fuck. And there's proof of it. People are taking like little $400. Like, that's an offer, that, just to make a little TikTok. I guarantee hundreds of people took that offer. Guarantee it. Anyway, let's move on. This mother claims her toddler is transgender, and she knew since he was 18 months because her child would wear dresses and liked makeup. I'm sorry, but an 18-month-old child puts her own dresses on. Do they? No. An 18-month-old child, an 18-month-old child doesn't dress itself and doesn't put makeup on. You dress the child up. You've put them on the kid.
the process, the journey is ongoing and probably will be for
And it's amazing how they're all doing this and then they get famous on TikTok. Look how good my child is. Look at what my child is. My child's transgender. My child's transgender. Because subscribe to my TikTok, like for more. Yeah, fuck off.
Essentially her entire life. But here's how it started. So she was designated, assigned, observed male at birth. And until about 18 months, didn't really, know too much, just kind of was raising two kids, working full time, not really paying attention to what was going on. And at around 18 months, she started showing signs of like really being interested in things that her sister had and had in her closet, and wanting to play dress up and wanting to put on lip gloss. And when she would see fingernails, she would want her fingernails painted too. And, we thought it was cute. No issue. We had no issue with, her wanting to do those kinds of things. And then around the age of 2, things started to progress at a quicker pace. And so each time that we would go to pick her up from preschool, she was fully outfitted in dresses and jewelry. And so I will say I was super stoked that
when you pick them up,
she was fully outfitted in the time that we would go to pick her up from preschool.
So you pick them up from preschool and the teachers had dressed them up in clothes. And because those crazy leftist teachers have done all this to your kid, now you believe what the teachers are saying and you're not protecting your kid and you're abusing them.
She was fully outfitted in dresses and jewelry. And so I will say I was super stoked that we had such a wonderful childcare center that she was in, because she was allowed to, experiment with her gender and play dress up and do those kinds of things and have access to them. So when I would go to pick her up from preschool, like I said, she would be dripping in, just jewelry and clicky shoes and all kinds of stuff. And getting her to take that off to go home was usually a pretty gnarly struggle. And then around the age of 4, she started wanting to wear like leggings and headbands. She had this one headband she was completely attached to.
Why are the children telling you what to do? You're the fucking parent. Why are your children telling you what to do? If my child came in and said they wanted something and I didn't want to have it, I'll tell them to go to the bedroom and shut up. You're absolutely mad. Do you know what you need to do, right? We're vertebrata, right? That is part of our history. If you look through like cladistics and stuff, you're a craniata because you've got a cranium, and we're supposed to be vertebrata because we've got vertebrae and a spine. We're chordates because we've got a spine. They don't have spines. We do not have spines in humanity anymore. We need to start manufacturing artificial spines and getting these people stood upright and being able to resist the fucking sway of the world. Because if a child can convince you of something, you are incredibly weak-minded, feeble-minded, as it were, almost retarded, low end of the IQ spectrum.
Too, that she felt, I look back on it now and think to myself, gosh, I wonder when she put that headband on, she thought to herself, people see me for who I am. No one's going to misgender me now. And so it progressed. It just kept moving in that direction with more and more things that started showing more and more signs. She would say, when I wake up tomorrow, I'll be a girl. And we were kind of like, oh, okay, yeah. And my husband and I would be like, we gotta figure this thing out. And
But
so
you
kind
didn't
of for
though,
that
did you?
final
You didn't though, did you? You didn't figure this thing out. You leaned into it more, and you've now made it worse. You didn't figure this thing out. You're a terrible parent. Fucking terrible parent. If anything, you're an abuser. Because this child will grow up. Hopefully this child makes it to 40, and they learn what you did to him. That's what I hope. And I hope that child can somehow scrape their life back together and live somewhat of a normal life without after being ruined by you.
test, my husband decided, you know what, we're going to figure this thing out. We're going to tap into this and see what happens. So he said, you know, I'm going to coach a t-ball team and I want her to be on it. And so I was like, all right, let's do it. Well, that didn't go over so well. She not only hated t-ball, she hated the uniform, she hated the hat. We found everything in the trash multiple times. She was, you couldn't get her out the door to go play on Saturday mornings. And so...
because she didn't like the sport. He, the little boy, didn't like the sport.
Eventually I thought at one point, well, okay, well, what if I let you wear your leggings and a tank top underneath? And we can, as soon as the game's over, you can take your uniform off. And she was like, okay. So she wore the headband. She didn't wear the hat. She wore the headband. She wore the clothes underneath her uniform. And she would go to the game and she would stand there. And as soon as it was like, game over, she would rip those clothes, you know, that uniform off and stand and proud in her tank top and her leggings. And very shortly after that, she told us she was a girl. And we believe her.
So now what's the next step? Are you going to slice your child up? Are you going to put your child under a surgeon's knife and have them sexually altered? Is that what you're going to do? Are you going to play God? Is that what you're going to do? Instead of being a fucking parent and having a spine?
That's problematic!
Yeah, it is. Shout out to Rob is Right, my new source of this stuff. Yeah, if you don't want to listen to me chatting shit over the top of it, go and subscribe to Rob is Right, because he's the man that does all the editing and stuff. I just have to sit here and endure it. That's all I have to do. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. I'm still doing the giveaway. It'll be on the 24th of this month, so it should be 3 days from now. There's only 31 of you in the running so far. All you have to do is subscribe and me see that you're subscribed. Peace.